Hey, this is John Regan from Keyboard Magazine. I'm here with Billy Jay Stein in New York City at Strange Cranium and Strike Audio. Say hi to your fans at Keyboard, Billy.
What's up, fans? How are you?
If there is a keyboard that you've lusted after, chances are it's hanging in the studio somewhere. Billy has been busy amassing a crazy collection of gear that not only does he proudly display, but he uses on just about everything that he programs, records for television, for Broadway, and also for record releases. So Billy's going to give us a tour of this pretty amazing collection of gear. Billy, take it away.
So, how are you guys? The first keyboard I'd love to show is the Yamaha CS-80, which was always a favorite of mine. This one was owned by Bill Payne at Little Feat, of Little Feat fame. He actually put the power supply out of the unit so that it's really stable. And it's beautiful sound. I also have this MIDI'd up, which is really cool. This next one is called the Teisco 110F, which is a really kooky sounding keyboard. Odyssey, the Juno 6, the Jupiter 8, Voyager, Monopoly, vocoder, the classic Mini Moog, which is also has MIDI. I can show you here. So what I love to do is run my keyboards through these effects, these old classic effects. My favorite being the Publicens. There's a Publicen DHM 89 and Publicen 90 Inferno. Yeah, AMS digital delay, which is really cool. Next up is my left side of the wall, which is the classic Kawai very similar to the other Teisco machine, because Kawai actually bought Teisco back in the day. Now another exciting one is this beautiful ARP 2600. Now this was owned by Marshall, who was developed by Stephen St. Croix, who was the editor of Mix magazine. He actually brought this to Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life sessions, and he used it on I Wish. That's the legend of this one. Now I have this MIDI'd up as well. So what I do is I can I'm actually sending MIDI to it right now. They also have this Synthy MIDI up. The Synthy is MIDI'd up as well. I have a great engineer named Takeshi Kawana who developed this box which can send MIDI translated into CV and gate, and also has some other cool things. But this is famous from Pink Floyd's On the Run. So again, I could send MIDI to them as well. So it's just reacting to the MIDI right now, which is pretty cool. Shut this one off.
Let's talk a little bit. In the middle of the wall, you have an Elka Synthex.
Yes.
Which is a coveted keyboard by people like Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran, and also Mark Ronson, our own David Barron, who writes for the magazine. Talk a little bit about this. This is a new acquisition of yours.
Yes, I found this from a fellow in Germany. I had it sent over in separate parts, and I had Takeshi help me fix it up. We actually put MIDI on it, and it's a really beautiful sounding synth. Of course, you can't hear it right now. That's what it sounds like. It's got really lush filters, and it's really great for string sounds and stuff like that.
I see in the corner you have an ARP Quadra,
Yes, that's
which
really cool.
which Tony Banks, I believe, played
Yes.
on a couple of the Genesis tours, but you don't see that keyboard a lot.
No, it's pretty cool, and I actually have it. Takeshi's working on having it MIDI'd up as well, so that would be one of the first, if not the only, MIDI'd ARP Quadra. I want to show you the Buchla. This is the Buchla system, which This is really cool. This is a boat system with lots of different modules. As you can see, I've been working on a soundtrack currently. That's very spacey. That's why everything is set up for spacey sounds. This is beautiful. This is running a sequence using these touch filters. I have them running through these cool delay pedals and effects pedals.
Now, under the Buchla, you can see the classic Emulator 2.
Yes.
And anybody that either ever lusted after a keyboard or watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a kid will remember that keyboard. But for anybody that grew up in the 80s, it was sort of the most seen keyboard around. But you've done some modifications to this.
I actually installed a hard drive that takes the place of the floppy disk. So I have all the sounds that I ever created on a little hard drive. And it's funny, the guy who developed it in Germany, he actually included the sounds of the tape loading and the beeps, which was kind of unnecessary, but it just adds to that classic vibe. And then this is the Wasp, which I know you love, which is also MIDI'd up, but I don't have it set up currently.
You had MIDI put on that.
Yeah. My key here is that I love people to bring their MIDI files over, and I can play everything is MIDI'd up here.
Wow.
And patched in. So this is
And is that also something? Let's say you're a keyboard player in America or somewhere else, and you have MIDI tracks that you want to record on a record, but you kind of want to get the real keyboard. Is that something that somebody could contact you and say, hey, I really want to get sound of a vintage keyboard? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like the old drum machines as well. Nothing beats the SB1200. Now this also has MIDI. This was built in '87, so this has MIDI, of course. You can tune the kicks. It's a really great sounding box. And I have a bunch of great preamps and compressors and guitar effect pedals. So run everything through, And I also have the modern iPad stuff, which is really cool, because I like to bring in the new and the old.
You also have some nice wall candy over here. There's a Grammy award.
I do a lot of mixing. Actually, I should show you. I have this Neve 5060 centerpiece, which I run everything analog out.
Wow.
Do some vintage preamps and compressors and EQs. So I mixed and produced that Carole King musical called Beautiful.
Nice.
And I got a Grammy for that.
Congratulations. Do you want to take us to your
So this is the
other
second
rooms?
one. So this is my my greatest piece.
In case people haven't killed themselves yet with the amount of gear that you have.
Yeah, it keeps getting better, because this is the Oberheim 8 voice. I spoke to Tom Oberheim. He said he made 10 of them, and 6 are in existence today. And I have one that was again modified by Stephen St. Croix, the owner of the ARP 2600. I actually have MIDI'd up the Oberheim 8 voice, so this is one of a kind, using these old Roland MPU 101s. You can see the lights flashing. I'll run the MIDI file real fast. 8 voices. It's incredibly fat, and you can control the whole thing. As you can hear, that's the tempo of the MIDI coming from Pro Tools. So there's really nothing that could beat this thing. So then we have the classic Farfisa, which I use a lot with dance synths, just adding underneath. It's actually pretty good sounding. Now this is another really funny story. This was a Hammond B3. I was in a rock band called the Hatters back in the early 90s.
People will remember that band from the Jam
circuit.
Jam band circuit, yeah. Wetlands.
I had long hair, and me and my drummer named Tom Kelly, we went up to Poughkeepsie to a funeral parlor. This guy sold B3s and motorcycles while working on the cadavers, and he gave me his coffin holder, and then we cut down the B3 so we can travel with it. I traveled with it for about 5 years.
With the coffin holder?
Yeah.
I guess the question is, what did he hold the coffins with after he gave you his coffin holder?
Yeah, he had a bunch of them.
Nice.
But this has a good spirit, you know.
And there's some other interesting keyboards on the wall.
So that's a Kumar Bit 1, Moog Opus 3, and the Cat Octave. I traveled with this, and this Moog Source, which is... I started collecting keyboards when I was 11. I saved money from my paper route in Long Island and bought this in 1981. So that makes me 47. And I still have it. This was my first synth. Later on, I got this 101, you know, the classic bass sounds. This is a new one called the Roland JDXA, where Strange Cranium, we developed the patches for this keyboard. Now this is the cool spot here. I should say it's cooler. This is a Moog Sonic 6, the precursor to the Mini Moog. That's a great speaker. You can mic the speaker. And even more crazy is this Tridex Muse, which I think only 30 were made in the early 70s at MIT. It's an algorithmic-based synthesizer. I actually did the sound design, helped on the sound design for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on Broadway, and this is the sound of the lab. You know, and then combined with this, sound of his lab. Sound like it? Yeah. I think I'm driving John Cruise. This is a MIDI piano. It actually is transmitting MIDI as we speak. It's a silent piano, but it's also a regular upright. We recorded the piano for a lot of the Carole King songs for the record here.
On that upright?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a great sounding upright.
Yeah.
This is my electromechanical room. The Clavinet D6 I got when I was in 1990 at a church for $300, and I brought this on the road too with the Hatters. Poly 61 I got when I was a teenager. This Rhodes Whirly was actually used by the guy in Nora Jones' band I got in Brooklyn like 15 years ago.
200A? 200A.
200A. The Rhodes, I brought this on the road as well with the Hatters, so we were carrying a lot of keyboards.
You have so many keyboards, you have a stack of them on the floor.
Yeah, I use these for programming for shows and stuff. We just use this for a band's visit. I'm just coming to Broadway.
What's that one?
That's about an Israeli band. Oh, this is the Kronos.
Okay.
Killer.
Yeah.
Kronos is great. Some old, like, Omnis. I use a lot of Omnis. I have 2 of them.
Kawai SX240, I remember that.
That's really cool. I mean, so that's this room. Oh, the Electro 4.
Very cool.
Oh, the ceiling I have my 90s synths, which I actually use now. Everyone's like the 90s. The Kawai S1005S, S5000, S, or whatever it is. Yeah. That has like that 90s sound. Additive synthesis. ANX1. This is the Hillwood synth. This is the precursor to the Roland string synths.
Wow.
This guy Hillwood, he developed them.
Yeah, it looks sort of like the Jupiter 4 almost.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't have.
What? And here's your internet cafe.
So this is sort of, I do a lot of also modern stuff, like programming, we developed this program called Strange Cranium Mainbrain for running Ableton. It's a Max for Live patch.
Yeah, if I recall, we had met when you were doing some programming for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so that still takes up a large portion of your work.
Yeah, I have a partner named Hiro Ida, who's a great programmer. He's actually over at Amelie, working with them right now.
And what does this program do, basically?
This is, Ableton Live is great for running stems of live tracks during the show. This is called conductor vamps. It's a way of programming the changes of scenes using JavaScript. So because it's really important when you're in rehearsal period to be able to be flexible and program on the fly. This really enables you to do that. Also, it's very clean because when you're conducting, you want to just see this, you know.
Yeah.
I'm also currently programming a show. It's coming on Broadway as well. It's using this new push system with Ableton, which is it's really easy and unique.
When you're programming a show, besides your software, what other kinds of things are you using?
Well, we're using a lot of Ableton, and then
main stage as well.
Yeah, I'm just finishing the main stage up for. I just did the Fish show, the band Fish. I actually used to open up for them back in the '90s, so I got back in touch, and we're using this system for the keyboard player, main stage. Yeah.
And so you're programming Paige McConnell's.
Actually, this was for the MSG. First, they're doing another set of shows.
Okay. So you're programming.
It's a second keyboard rig.
Okay.
Yeah.
For another player.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last player was named Jeff Tansky.
Okay.
So that's sort of what's going on over here. My main system and main thing I do is use SoundMiner. It's another program where I have a music library called Strike Audio.
Yeah, many people are familiar with your work. If they turn on numerous TV shows, they'll see the music credit by Strike Audio. Talk a little bit about that portion of what you do.
I'm a composer, and I used to write for VH1 and MTV in the 90s, and I met an executive at VH1 named Michael Rosen, and we hooked up, and we started this music library with a bunch of friends of mine from New York, a lot of players you know. And we have this company called Strike Audio, and we basically offer an online service where you can download tracks. We have about 68,000, we have about 70,000 coming in, where you can search by genre, you can search by tempo, BPMs, key, so editors can use their songs, use our songs in their films and stuff. So this is the back office area. We have an Avid system. We're making it Avid compatible, which is video software. This is where the tagging comes in. We have to get a file from a composer. We have about 15 full-time composers and about 70 guys and girls sending us stuff. And this is where I do all the tagging and cataloging and legal stuff. And then this is what we call the door.
Nice. Yeah.
And you can, basically, this is my life. Yeah, a little kitchen. So
if people want to find out more about either of your companies, what's the best place for them to check you out online?
Well, check out strikeaudio.com, and then you can find links to ways to submit music if you're interested, and also if you want to just check out my keyboard stuff and kind of my fun homepage. I'm Strange Cranium. Actually, Strange Cranium comes from I was a neuroscience major at school. So it sort of has to do with cranium.
Yeah.
So crazy cranium.
And if anybody is looking to sell gear, what are you looking for at present that you don't have?
Well, I actually was trying to find something.
What are you looking for, Billy? A Jupiter 4.
Yeah. What else? I don't know. I'm looking for new stuff. New modules, new exciting things. Yeah.
Well, we'll keep a lookout for you, and we appreciate you making time for keyboard.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
For coming.
Appreciate it.
Bye.